So these are, you know, the choices you make, Venus, the memories you have, Moon, the way you think, what you think was going on, Mercury. Boy, you added a couple of drinks or a couple of tokes onto that, and it's amazing how convoluted or confused or diluted, or you can get lost in these memories of thoughts or values or judgments around them without any relationship to anybody else. So I can't define them. I'm just pointing to a process to try and expand or saying, well, hopefully we'll get through this through the next 10 or 12 weeks, 12 or 13 weeks. So Venus is your choices, your value, what you like, what you love, and what you hate, what you're attracted to, and what you repulse from. And your Moon is your memory of those experiences. And your Mercury is making sense out of those memories and those experiences. And because they can be really intensely bad and horrible, the mind can take, well, that was truth. Not always think, wait a second, I got to listen to the moment and where's God or where's Spirit in the moment to how to heal this. So the yoga of astrology, it's a mental yoga, Raja Yoga, is to be able to turn your thoughts inward, to take each planet and not, you can use the planets to see what you're doing out in the world, but you can also work to use them to come into your soul and into your heart. And how come you have this? And how does this pull you in? And how can you stay centered even though that is going on? Instead of festering on that as the most important point in your life, that's just a memory. What's happening now? I can't do anything now because of that memory. That's a whole judgment. That's a whole complex being imposed on now, which most of us are doing in one way or another. So trying to weave the levels of consciousness to each other and gain some sense of this is the essence of spiritual guidance, spiritual healing, working with stress and tension, and making good out of a difficult thing, making the best out of what you got. You know? So you had an abusive family, so what? Come on, let's go do something. I can't do this. Yeah, you can, come on. No, I can't do this again. So we impose our own limits based on our feelings, our moods, our values. Oh, geez, you like someone. Do you smile at them and say, I love you? Do you smile and say, oh, you're gorgeous. I'd love to go to bed with you? Whoa, and what would happen if you do? Who are you talking about? Don't talk to me. This is like this pecking order of what you like and what you want, what's beautiful, what you can get, what other people want. Whoa, what you don't get. This is all Venus. It can affect, and as that gets rejected or gets reinforced or rejected, if there's a stressful relation from that, it's going to impose that stress from Venus into the memories, into the Moon, and you're going to have to work through those to get beyond them. Realize that's a complex, but it's who you were, not who you are. And you have to learn, you don't have to fix everything. You just have to come to terms where you're not feeding all the dark side of things. Yeah, that happened, but it doesn't mean it's going on. It means I have to struggle or make an extra effort to make good choices so that I'm not dumping more difficult experiences into my memories. Okay. When you get to your sun, your confidence of what you radiate out. Hi, how do you like me so far? How are you doing? There's your sun. The arrogant, radiant body of confident light. I'm here. This light is so important. What's a memory to light? It burns the memories. What's a thought against radiant love? A disturbance, a ripple, a wave on the top of the ocean. What's a desire, a lust, an emotion against radiant love? Whew. But if I want to have the radiant love, I want to have it this way. I got to have this. I got to have a handsome man. I got to have a rich partner. I got to have this. I got to have. We start imposing our personal agendas based on our past and assuming that we have to have this or everything's a failure. And we have trouble getting to just our confidence in our heart. We get moments. Everyone gets moments. Even in an abusive situation, there's moments where you have your confidence, where you have this reality beyond the memories, beyond the feelings, beyond the immediate. But boy, when you're born in a war zone and everything around you is horrible or stuff like this, it takes time to grow out of it and get on. And by the time you're grateful to just be out of it, to have some peace. So you have peace, you have to bring up your peace, it seems all fine. And just when you got it seemingly all settled and you're content with where you are, your kids are growing up, they're happy, you're happy. All of a sudden, they start getting into drugs or start doing things. They don't want to live a simple, calm life. They want some trouble, some experience. And all of a sudden, it's disturbing your peace because it's hitting your nerve and threatening you. And the very thing that's threatening you is the very thing that your kids are going for. So life is a really remarkable puzzle that plays with us and brings these things up. They pulsate out, and they come in, and we're trying to get our bearings and hold our centering within it all. But up till now, we've seen the inner things. When you start to moon, this is like Maslow's hierarchy of needs. If you aren't eating right, you're not living right. How can you think right? How can you make right choices? How can you be confident? Even if you think you're confident, by the time you get out to put out energy, Mars, you won't have the same strength. By the time you try and understand things, you'll be misunderstood. By the time you accomplish things, you won't have the energy to finish things. So it's a challenge to live up to all of your planets. Really, if you're working on the planets and the signs and the planets and the houses, those are the healing energies. You can see how your energy is supposed to work. You can pretty well ignore the aspects. If you're going to ignore anything, ignore the aspects. Do a chart without aspects. But the aspects as an astrologer, wow, they teach you how to walk into the stress complexes of another person. But it's not a simple process. It's a very vast, phenomenal process that you're walking into. And if you're just doing it in your head, you're going to say things that aren't of valid scope. But sometimes you just get the insight, you're in it, you get the feeling of the moment, you see where someone's coming from, you just get exactly the right thing to say, and it opens up a doorway for them to resolve something. This is when astrology gets really healing and magical. It's how it is. It's how it's going on. It's just the fault, dear Buddhist, is not in our stars, but in ourselves that we are underlings. If there's a problem, it's that we didn't interpret it perfectly enough. We were off a little bit that day. We're just seeing it this way or seeing it that way, because in our moment, we're bringing our memory with us one way or another, and it's not. And we're doing our interpretations against the background of that, and that we're not perfectly void either. So if you haven't been abused and other people, you're talking to someone who's been abused, you can't assume you can just walk across and know what's happening. If you've been abused and someone else has been abused, you can assume you come from the same place. You can talk about those things, but you can't assume that you each have taken the same solutions. Okay, usually when someone's working with problem kids or mental problems or people in prisons or social complexes, they've been that, they've been through it, so they survived it, so they have the empathy to know that I lived through that. If I meet someone else who's done that, I can help them, and it justifies my life more and gets me more into now. So where are we going? We're going right into now. Where have we been? Well, wherever we've been, it wasn't now. Wherever we're going isn't now. Oh. Who am I anyways? This is just all a play around this. If you're in your heart and you're centered and you're just clear, none of this means anything. It's just flutter or ripples on the wave or currents running down a river. You don't have to pay attention. But as soon as you get off center and out of your heart and out of the moment and you're running forward or you're having to go back to take care of things, boy, your chart just implodes on you very quickly. And these patterns become karmic patterns that start playing in the affairs of your life. And they can play them out shortly, in a short time. They can play themselves over a lifetime or two, maybe, or two or three. Okay. Yeah, so confidence, how to get your confidence. How's confidence without truth? How do you see clarity? If you're just confident and you're not in touch with the difficulties around you, that's arrogance. But if you're confident and you're in touch with your personal depth in that, wow, that's merging the sun and moon. That's the alchemical union of integrating the past and future. and being here now. When you start putting the energy out, Mars is putting energy out. It's anger, it's force, it's aggression, it's putting energy out. When you go to put it out, if you haven't lived well, if you're not eating well, if you haven't slept well, if you're putting it out and you're just going on 10 cups of coffee, it's not going to be as strong as someone who's healthy, sleeping well, and just naturally comes out and just, boom, does things. They have that energy in a much better place. So when it comes to putting energy out, we all can do that. But how much baggage are we bringing with us? Every negative thought, every doubt is interfering with spontaneous action. How much courage do we have? How far will we go? These are all factors. So our strength and our energy, Mars, can affect the moon. It can make harsh things, it can make angry things, make competitive things, it can make you lazy and have to fight the laziness, it can make you intolerant. So many things come in from a Mars affecting the moon. Adds an anger or impatient element. You get to Jupiter, with its abundance and exaggeration, it's trying to understand or misunderstand. There can be many misunderstandings of a family and many bad habits. There's a tendency to eat too much. Whoa. Water time. Okay, so Jupiter expands the moon. So if there's a moon problem, that problem is going to be expanded. And one's going to try and understand it out in the world. If one succeeds, that's a great integration. If one doesn't, one gets lost in exaggerating bad habits, in going to excesses and overweight, in drinking too much or indulging too much. I mean, the world business kind of runs on this. It's like, if you're not getting what you want, have a drink, buy some chocolate, have something sweet, like buy something. Like so much advertising is based on the insecurity of our memories and our moods and how content we feel, how confident we are. So I'm confident, I'll go buy that. But then we can't afford it. Or what? So many ways this web can spin. But Mars puts physical energy into the moods and security. So if you have the need to be physical and competitive, you've got to eat right. You've got to eat well. You've got to figure that out.